Garrett Flax. We're here in Utica, Kansas. They have a sheep farm. They run a few cows, and you guys farm as well. Is that right?
Yep.
You guys run a few hundred ewes. We're here in one of your lambing barns. How's it going today?
Good.
So today you're going to kind of walk us around your guys' operation, show us kind of how things work. When do you guys lamb?
We will start about the last week of April.
And how long does it usually take to get through all your ewes?
We are right at about a month here, and we've only got 25 left.
Okay, so in the thick of it, how many are you guys having a day? I mean, how many ewes are popping babies out?
Oh, I think our record's like 50. But,
no kidding.
But it's usually 10 probably, 10
okay.
15.
And when they're having babies, how many are they having? How many is your guys' average, lamb to ewe ratio?
I would say we probably wean about 180%. So,
okay.
That's 1.8 lambs per ewe.
Garrett, so you guys have a bunch of different stalls here, I see. Kind of what's your process when one pops a baby out or you see one getting closer? You guys putting it in the stall?
Yep. So they will be out there where they eat and stuff, and we've got cameras throughout the barn and throughout the corrals, and when we see something drop, especially if it's a twin or a triplet, we'll go out and get the lambs, and the ewes will follow us in, and we'll just bring them in here and pop them in these jugs they're usually in there for 24 hours, or if they've got problems, they'll be in there longer.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they'll get food and water in there. And
so when you guys pop out, a ewe has twins, what are you guys doing? You're putting it in there. Are you guys docking a tail, giving any shots right away, or?
Nope. So we just let them bond, let them, get used to mom, and then after 24 hours or whatever, they'll move to like a smaller pen like this over here.
Okay.
And we'll end up, I think we usually put about 30 ewes with their lambs in these small pens here, and then when that pen gets full, 2 weeks or whatever, then we'll go through and we'll get them all in and give them their vaccines in there and dock them.
So what are you giving them as for vaccine wise?
Clostridium, Prefinges, C and D with tetanus in it for when we're docking tails and docking testicles.
Absolutely. Garrett, so we got a couple dogs here. What are they?
They are Maramas.
And they're a sheepdog, is my understanding.
They were born and raised with sheep, though, so they've been around sheep their whole life.
Absolutely. So you guys go out to grass, you said in about July, with your ewes, and the lambs are completely weaned off.
Yep,
is that correct?
Off. Yep. We don't send
pairs out to grass. Okay, and you send how many dogs per ewe, or how does that work?
Well, we've got three different sheep pastures, and we've got 2 dogs for each pasture.
Okay. All right, Garrett, we're here with some of your younger ewes in a little bit of a bigger pen. Kind of tell me about them. What do you guys have going on here? Yeah, they're just
Younger ewes that maybe don't need quite as much grub as the older ones that are having more of your twins or triplets. These are going to have more singles than triplets for sure, and bigger pen, and yeah, that's.
And this is another calving barn up here, is that correct?
Yeah, another lambing barn. Yep. So we'll lamb all these, take them in there and do the same thing with the jugs, and they'll go over on this side for a couple weeks, and then we got finished up, so we kicked them all out in the big pen.
Okay. So what do they get for food-wise, right now, being dry lotted until you get them turned out on grass?
Yep. So they're getting some distillers, corn silage, your sorghum sedan ground up, and a TMR, plus some rolled milo. Okay.
So you said these lambs be about 2 months, and then you wean them. Is that right? About 60 days?
Yeah. Yep. That's about right, give or take. And then they'll stay here in these lots. Their moms will go to grass after we dry them up, and then we'll just slowly work them up to a full feed ration and have them fat by hopefully Christmas or a little after.
Absolutely. So I've watched a couple of YouTube videos myself about sheep before we came out here. How does it work trying to dry up your sheep? Are you just giving them just straight hay, or what do they get until they stop milking?
Yep. So we'll probably hold them off water for 12 hours, and then they'll just get a dry cane bale for about a week. Yep. And after that, then they're probably good to go.
Do you have any problems with mastitis at that point, or not really?
Not really. Right now where it's wet, and we try to do our best to keep the the pens clean and stuff.
Yeah.
And that does more for it than anything. But inevitably, you're gonna
have it
eventually.
Yep.
Exactly. So we're here at your guys' working facility at one of your farms. How does the process work when you're gathering the ewes or the lambs, depending on who you're working, and what's the process look like to get them through?
Yep. So we'll bring them down an alley, get them in this holding pen here, and we will run them into that. It's kind of a
mud box.
Kind of a bud box, yeah. And we'll swing this gate, run them up into here, and then lift the alley gate there.
So when you guys wean, are you guys running everything through here and splitting off separate ways, or how do you guys wean?
Yeah, we will. We'll get creeps set up for these lambs here in the next few weeks, and we get pretty lucky that when we give them the creep grain in the morning, that 75% of them will wean themselves.
Exactly.
Run through the creep gate, and we can shut the gate. And then what's left, we'll either get in the pen and throw them over, or we'll run them down the sorting alley.
Exactly. Okay, gotcha. So for your creep feed, what are you guys giving them?
We'll start them on, some rolled corn and some alfalfa hay.
All right, so when you guys turn your ewes out to pasture, when are you turning out the rams on them?
So the rams will be turned out around Thanksgiving time.
Okay.
And they'll run out on triticale, if we have triticale.
Okay, gotcha. So breed up wise, are 90%? Do you guys ultrasound, or what are you guys doing right now?
Yeah, we'll be over 90%. We'll probably be 95, 96%.
Okay.
And then yeah, we'll bring the ewes back in here and run them through the chute, and we'll set that calf chute up over there and ultrasound them.
So when you said you ultrasounded, you talked about how the vet comes out, ultrasounds them, and then he can maybe tell the difference between twins, triplets, and singles. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the hope with ultrasounding them. So then, in a perfect world, we get them sorted. What's going to have singles, and then what's going to have twins or triplets, and
just to feed them a little better.
Feed them better, and you pay more attention to the pin with the twins and triplets.
Exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. So Garrett, when you guys wean your lambs, you guys are keeping the lambs on your place until you guys go to harvest them. Is that correct?
Yep. They'll be here till they're fat.
And so how does that process work? How big are they going to get? Where do they go?
We'll wean them and get them worked up on feed, and feed them out, and we'll ship some. The majority of them will ship right around 100 pounds, and they'll go back to the East Coast to your ethnic markets.
So Garrett, we're looking at a pen of your guys' ewes with some lambs, and you guys just sheared them, is that right?
Yep, we'll shear in March, usually around the spring break time, and we like to get the wool off of them before they lamb, so that the lambs have an easier time finding the udders.
And as it gets warmer, they're not so hot.
Yeah, obviously they're more comfortable.
Yep. So roughly, how much wool is going to be on your normal ewe?
Well, we'll probably average 4 to 5 pounds on a ewe.
Okay.
And we'll put it in your burlap bags and ship it.
And where's it going this year? Do you know?
Went to Ohio this year.
Okay. And the price isn't very good right now. Is that right?
No.
But in the past, has the price of it been profitable, or is it just kind of one of those things that's just an expense?
Yeah, it's kind of just an expense for us.
Exactly.
The wool might pay the shearing bill.
Yep. So when do you guys have the shears come out? How many people are coming out, and then how long is it taking?
There's 2 brothers, and they'll knock out 250 a day pretty easy.
No kidding.
So yeah, they're good and they're fast.
Along with weaning your guys' lambs, you guys buy a couple truckloads of lambs that are already weaned as well, and feed them out, on top of yours. Is that right?
Yep. So we'll raise enough silage and grain corn for ourselves to hopefully feed out some lambs from the Dakotas.
Okay.
They come out of Newell, and
so you guys have to figure out the trucking and all of that to get them here, and then you guys mass treat when you get those in, just from the long trip, and then
yep, we'll get them in and give them some medicine and unroll some grass hay and stuff, get them used to the place, the water as they come in, because it's a long trip.
In the past, I've heard you can have up to 3 lambings every 2 years. Is that possible?
Yeah, that's called accelerated lambing, where it's pretty intensive. You're pushing those ewes pretty hard, to get 3 lamb crops in 2 years.
Absolutely. What do you guys do?
We're just once a year. We'll just go in the spring, and then you know what doesn't lamb, or the late ones will end up in the fall.
Okay, so how many do you guys have in a fall herd? Is it quite a bit smaller than your spring?
Yeah, it'll only be 40 or 50 ewes.
Okay,
probably.
Gotcha. So looking at your ewes, what breed are they? What do you guys put on them for rams, etc.?
Yeah, so most of these will be Dorset and Rambouillet. Not crosses, but we'll cross the Dorset and Rambouillet with a Suffolk to get your smut faces.
Okay.
So it's one of the 3.
Yep.
Those 3 predominantly.
And then for rams, what do you guys use?
We run Sire Maxes, which is a composite cross.
So how many rams do you guys have for your guys' ewes? I mean, what's the rate? You know, in cows is kind of what I know, and it's about 1 for 20, 1 for 25. Is it about the same?
Yeah, we'll figure. I mean, I think we could push it, you know, up to that 50 or 60, but we're in that 30 to 40.
Okay,
ewes.
30 to 40 ewes per ram.
Yeah.
And what's your guys' how long do you keep them out for? What's your guys' window?
Yeah, we want to be done lambing here by the end of June, so you know we leave them out for 2 months.
Okay, about 60 days. All right, Garrett, I don't want to take too much of your time. We'll let you guys get back to work, because I can see you're very busy, and you guys got some cows, some sheep, and you guys do some farming. So with that being said, thanks for the opportunity to come out and check out your guys' little herd, and kind of explaining to me and the viewers on how it works. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.